Hi guys, I'm Emily. If you follow my blog, the ones that really matter, you know that this is my Blogaversary Q&A because September 1st, the day that I will be uploading this, is my 1-year Blogaversary. Yay! So yeah, I apologize in advance for all the awkwardness, the rambling, everything that I'm about to do. Just, I'm sorry. And thank you for watching. So anyway, I had y'all give me some, I gotta stop moving my hands around. I had y'all give me some questions on my blog to answer today, and I'm super excited to be answering them. I got some really cool questions from, you guys are great. So yeah, I'm here in front of my bookshelf, which I just decorated for fall, just for you guys. Also, I just want to say, if you see like the frame move or anything weird like that, like if suddenly, you know, it looks like I moved the camera like that, probably because either my battery died, which it shouldn't because I put a fresh one in, or I have had to take a memory card out and transfer this video to my laptop because I didn't have enough memory on my camera, because I am just prepared like that. So there's that. Anyway, let's get into the questions. So I have them all written in my little, this is my blog notebook. Isn't it cute? Ice cream. Because ice cream is like my favorite thing in the world. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Remember what I said about the rambling? Okay. So these first questions are from Melissa. The first one is, what's your favorite part of the writing process? I really love first drafts, like writing first drafts. It's really hard for me sometimes, but like I just really enjoy that initial idea of getting all your thoughts out on the paper or, you know, the keyboard or whatever you're using, and, you know, just getting to know your characters and your setting and everything. It's so fun. And like I said, I'm really bad at it sometimes, like finishing first drafts, but like once you get into the groove of it, it's the best. I also do like editing. I know most people don't like editing, but I like editing. Whatever. What are 3 fantasy books you recommend? Okay, so my number one, like, off-the-wall fantasy book that I'm always going to recommend is The Farwalker's Quest by Johnny Sinsel. This is so good. I like got this from the library looking for, you know, new books, and I think it's actually technically a middle grade or something like that. So I was just kind of, you know, expecting cutesy little book, but this book is so good. This book ripped my heart out in the best way. We're so weird. We readers, you know. But anyway, yeah, it was just, I love this book. Read this book. Okay. Let's see. So I'm always gonna say Lord of the Rings, duh. This is really awkward, me just like turning around looking back here. But anyway, so Lord of the Rings, Narnia, of course, that's always gonna be on my list. I know I've read other fantasy books recently, but mine's blank, so. But yeah, my number one, like, default book is The Farwalker's Quest. It's great. So, which of your characters is most likely to attempt to murder you? This is a very interesting question. Let's see. I feel like it would have to be, like, if we're talking about villains, it'd be a really easy question to answer, probably. If we're talking about, you know, not villains, it'd be a little more difficult. Let me think about that for a minute. Out of villains, it'd probably be Relia from my trilogy, The Unchosen Ones. I haven't actually written any of her scenes yet, but she's like pretty cold-hearted, and, you know, all she wants to do is to kill all the people who have powers, because she does not. I don't have powers, but if I was in this world as just a normal being, you know, I would have powers. So she would be probably at the top of the list as far as the villains go. As for just out of all my characters, or all my protagonists, Probably, I'm gonna say Arkland from Roots to Claim, my nano novel from last year, because he goes through a lot of stuff that kind of messes with him, and he goes pretty off the wall, so probably Arkland. Alright, so these next questions are from Nicole. If you could describe yourself in 3 characters, who would they be? This is such an interesting question, and I feel like I really should have thought these questions through more, because now I'm just going to sit here wasting my camera memory that I talked about, which I've already used halfway up, and, you know, when I could have had them already, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to have to go definitely with Christy Miller for one, because I can just really relate to her, because unlike a lot of other books with teenagers in them, or movies, or anything, she had rules, and, you know, her parents didn't just allow her to do whatever. She had guidelines that she had to go by, and I could just, you know, that's how I grew up. So that's one. I'm also gonna go with Parvin from the Out of Time series. That may have been a spider, I don't know. So, Parvin wants to make the most of her time, and she wasn't like that at the beginning of this series, but then with this awesome character development through the rest of the series, she really gets that way where she just wants to use her time the best way she can, and I feel like that describes me very well, because it's very easy to waste your time or to live your life in a way that doesn't make a difference to you or anybody around you, and I don't want to live like that. I want to live in a way that makes my life worth it, you know? I just want to apologize for the change in quality. My camera battery died, you know, the one that I said I had just put in there, and then when I switched the batteries, my camera decided that the memory card wasn't readable. So, switching over to my laptop now. So that's fun. But anyway, so the question that I was answering was, if you could describe yourself in 3 characters, who would they be? So I said Christy Miller, Parvin Blackwater, and I'm going to say Bilbo Baggins for the 3rd one. Because I just really, like, I think I'm truly a hobbit. I just want to, you know, I'm like Bilbo. He just wanted to stay in his little hobbit hole and chill and have his cozy little life and not have to go out his door, because that's a dangerous business. And he just wanted to stay home and have his tea and, you know, have his space to himself. And that's me. So, Christy Miller, Parvin Blackwater, Bilbo Baggins. So Nicole's next question was current favorite songs. Basically, all I've been listening to lately is the Descendants soundtracks. If you know me, you know that I love Descendants. So my favorite songs out of all those that I've been listening to lately, You and Me from Descendants 2, My Once Upon a Time from Descendants 3. Those are great songs. If you don't like the movies, you should still go listen to the songs, because they're great. That's pretty much all I've been listening to lately. Okay, and the next question, if you could learn any language, real or fictional, what language would it be and why? So, real languages, I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, so I would kind of want to go back and touch up on that, or relearn it, because I've forgotten most of it, and just kind of, you know, get that down. And also, American Sign Language I really love. I know the alphabet, but I don't, you know, I know some signs, but I don't know the whole language. So that would be probably my main one, even over Spanish. I don't know why I brought Spanish up. Fictional, I mean, come on, guys. Elvish, who doesn't want to speak Elvish? So that would be pretty great. Next questions are from Katura. And the first one is, what is something you're afraid to do but really want to do? I really want to speak out about my faith more, like at work, and tell people about God and how important He is to me, but I'm too much of a wimp. I'm really trying to get into a better place where I can do that, but that would be probably the main thing that I'm really afraid to do. And I hate saying that even because, you know, we shouldn't be afraid to do that. But I feel like most of us are. So the next question, is there anybody out there that shouldn't write in your opinion? This is a very interesting question, and I feel like there are a lot of different ways that this question could be taken. I feel like if you're talking about somebody who maybe thinks they want to write, but they don't enjoy it, or it's taking, you know, something away from them. I don't know. I wasn't really sure how to answer this question, to be honest, but I feel like if there was somebody who wanted to write, but it didn't bring them joy, it didn't fulfill them, that would be somebody. But it's a very hard question. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be, but it was hard for me. Okay, what makes people click? This is also a difficult question. Katura, you asked some great questions, but like, man, they were deep, and I'm having trouble. But it's, you know, I appreciate, you know, the deep questions. So anyway, what makes people click? Well, what makes me and my friends click? I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's just this, I guess, this thing where you can look at each other and know what the other person's thinking, or see in their face how they're feeling, or know what they're about to say, whether it be an inside joke or, you know, anything, how they're going to react. Once you get to know a person on that like emotional level where you understand their personality, I feel like that's when you click, because then that's when those two people just are really connected. And I don't even know if I can describe that in a proper way, but that's just the best way that I can think of to describe it. So the next question, what was one of the first blogs you started reading? So the very first one that I started reading was definitely Go Teen Writers, because that was the one that like got me into this whole thing, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But Go Teen Writers was the first blog that I started reading, and from there, it just like, what do they call it? Butterfly effect? Domino effect? I don't know. From there, I found all my other blogs that I read, and like the first few that I started reading were Amy Meester's blog. At the time, it was, I believe, To the Barricade. That was one of the first ones. Emily Morgan's blog, well, it was Emily Jaden, I think that's how you said her name, but her blog Dreaming Hobbit. Those were like some of the very first ones that I found through Go Teen Writers. So, but for the just a simple answer to the question, Go Teen Writers is the first blog I started reading. How did you come about to be blogging? Okay, so this is where we go back to Go Teen Writers again. So, honestly, I don't even remember how I found Go Teen Writers, but I found that, I think, around the time of a Word War week, and so I took part in the Word War and got to know some of the people through that, and then, like I said earlier, from there, I started reading all these other blogs, and it looked so fun how these people, they weren't, you know, they were just normal writers like me, but they were able to have their own little corner of the internet where they share their opinions and, you know, things, their stories and everything, and it just looked really fun. Plus, the community was so nice and so supportive, and I just knew really from the time I first started reading Go Teen Writers that I really wanted to be part of that. So, and there were different like bloggers that inspired me, I guess you could say. Just then, after a couple years, really, I think, of reading blogs and being part of like the comment section on all these blogs and kind of getting to know the people through there, I was like, okay, I want to start my own blog. Like, I had so many things in my head that I wanted to say, and I just decided it was time. So last year, a year ago from the time you're watching this video, or the time that this video is uploaded, I started The Ones That Really Matter, and it's been great. What have you learned being a blogger? Okay, so this is a really good question. What have I learned being a blogger? I've learned that I am really bad about procrastinating. I wait to write my blog posts until like 2 days before, so then I don't edit them until the day before. I've really been trying to get into a better routine, but that's not relevant to the question. I've learned that it's not as hard coming up with material as I thought it would be. The longer I blog and the more I read, the more I write, the more I learn. There's always something new. Plus, the more you get involved in the community, there's just different kinds of posts you can do. I've also learned that I really needed somewhere to get my thoughts out. I'm not good at talking about some things. So I really just I needed to have a place to write about it. And so I've learned that I can talk about some of these things, but it's just more comfortable for me to have a way to write these things and not speaking them to people face to face. I've also just learned about myself as a writer and how I write and how there are a lot of writers out there and we all have different ways of writing and that's fine. That's okay. Alright, so the next questions are from Movie Critic. The first one, what is your dog's name? I love that you are asking about my dog because he's like my child. So my dog's name is Xander, and I got that from Power Rangers Mystic Force. I love Power Rangers. You might know that, you might not, but now you do. So, yeah, so one of my favorite seasons of Power Rangers was Mystic Force, and there was the Green Ranger on that season. His name was Xander, and I always loved the name Xander, but it's just not my style of names for what I would want to name my children. So for like a few years, I held on to that, and I thought I love the name Xander. I wouldn't use it for my kids, so I'm gonna name my dog that someday. Whenever I get another dog. At the time, I already had a dog. So yeah, so his name's Xander, and I got that name from Power Rangers, and I love him. Favorite Marvel character so far. So I said in one of my recent blog posts that my family just started watching all the Marvel movies in a row. Well, we started with Agent Carter, the show, the series, and now we just watched Iron Man. So then I think tomorrow we're going to watch Iron Man 2, so we're not that far into the movies yet. But there are quite a few movies that I have not seen. So my favorite Marvel character so far definitely be Captain America. I love Captain America. And that might change as I watch these movies. There are a lot of characters I have not been exposed to yet. Black Panther, Ant-Man, all of these people I don't even know. I've not seen them at all on screen. I don't really see it changing because I love Captain America so much, but, I'll keep an open mind. What is a movie that you thought you'd hate but ended up loving? So I couldn't really think of a movie that I thought I would just hate. The closest thing that I could think of would be The Karate Kid, the old version. So I didn't think I would hate that one, but I don't know. I wasn't very much interested in it, but my siblings all wanted me to watch it, so they were like pushing me to watch it and really not giving me any choice in the matter. So I was just kind of like, I don't want to watch that. I'm not going to like it. But then I watched it and I ended up really liking it, especially the end, the fight scene. It was pretty great. What do you think of Descendants 3? I love that you're asking me questions about Descendants because I love Descendants. What do I think of Descendants 3? I think Descendants 3 was fantastic. Descendants 2 is still my favorite, but Descendants 3 is like here's Descendants 2, here's Descendants 3. They're so good. Descendants 3, I thought was a really great finale to, what the heck is going on back there? Okay, let's take care of that. The music was great, the characters were great. I just love those movies. And Descendants 3, I loved Descendants 3. And if you could go into any fictional world, which one would it be and why? So Ooh, this is hard. My first, like, top of my head answer that comes to me is Narnia, because doesn't want to go to Narnia? Then I would also love to go to Middle Earth and go to Hobbiton and go into a hobbit hole and just see how all these. Actually, someday I am gonna do that because literally the Shire, the place that they shot that, is still like set up where they filmed it in New Zealand. So someday I am gonna go to the Shire, and it's gonna be fantastic. Mm. So because there's a possibility that I will go there, I'm just gonna go with Narnia because they have Aslan and magic and all that fantastic stuff. And so yeah, I would definitely go to Narnia. So the next questions are from Kara. What got you into the blogging world? So I sort of talked about this a while ago. We started reading Go Teen Writers, and then it introduced me to a lot of other bloggers. And yeah, how many siblings do you have? 3 siblings, 2 sisters and 1 brother. My oldest sister is 38. Yeah, 38, almost 39. My brother is 34. Why am I so bad at this? No. Yeah, he's 34, and then my sister is 30. My other sister is 33. What is one fictional character you relate to the most? Kind of talked about this earlier with which 3 characters what I used to describe me. Which one I relate to the most? It's very hard to pick between those 3 actually, because I feel like I picked 3 very good ones. Can I pick one that's in a book that's not published yet? Because I really relate to Sophie from my story, from my book Fall into Time. So yeah, we're gonna go with Sophie. Your first memory. So the first memory that I can identify, the day I got my first dog Shadow. So I was 2 years old, and I remember, I don't know if I knew that she was coming home with a dog, but I remember my sister carrying me out the front door at our old house across the driveway to my mom, and she had a puppy, and it was for me, and that's my first memory that I know of. The last text you sent. Okay, I think I know. This isn't going to be a satisfying answer. Oh, okay. So the last text I sent was, "Who did?" Which makes no sense without any context. Okay, the next questions are from Raquel. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. So if you went to your work in progress books world, would you survive? This is a great question. I love this question. So my current, it's like a gnat. So my current book that I'm working on is Fall into Time, and it takes place in Allender, which is a fictional world, but it's very similar to our world in some ways. But it's also a like a mashup between a science fiction world and a fantasy world. So they have dragons and griffins, and they also have like really fancy technology. So the main threat in their world that they're running from is a mechanical dragon named Jax. I think as long as he wasn't out to get me, I would survive, because there's really, it's not a dangerous world. It's just they have dangerous situations going on. So I think I would survive. Stupid gnat. Favorite part: writing, editing, or plotting? So it would be writing. I'm not very good at plotting. Proudest writing moment. So I'm not sure if you mean proudest moment as a writer, or the proudest, like what part of my writing I'm the proudest of. But so my proudest writing moment as far as like actual writing, when I was the most proud, would be when I finished my first draft of Roots the Claim, because I had never finished a first draft before, at least not in recent years when I actually tried to make them good. When I finished the first draft of that, I was super proud then, and also just before then, you could kind of combine these 2 together. when I won NaNoWriMo for the very first time, after participating for like 4 years, I believe. Why did I forget? 4 years. I finally won, and that felt really good, and I was really proud of that. As far as like my favorite moment as a writer, for my career, probably the very first time I ever had something published, which was when I was, I think, 11, and I had a short story published in Stone Soup magazine. I had sent in things, submitted things to be published 8 times before this first acceptance, and some YouTube channels you recommend. Okay, so as far as books, that kind of YouTube, BookTube, definitely Nadine Brandes. I love her videos. She is so funny, so like adorable, and I just cannot recommend her videos enough, or her books. Cole and Savannah LeBrant, or the LeBrant family. I love them, and hearing them talk about their faith and watching them raise their girls. They're so precious. Savannah Grace has a great YouTube channel. She hasn't uploaded a video for a while, but I love the videos she's uploaded, and I really love watching videos about books. So these next questions are from Sky, and she asked, favorite snippet of your writing. So this is a very cruel question because I have written a lot of snippets, and I could never just pick one favorite, but I found a couple that I really like. So one of them is from my story. So one of them is from my story, Roots to Claim. It involves Arkland, the main character, and Kennett, whose name might change, I don't know. But Kennett is an old man that Arkland was sent to steal something from. So this is when Arkland is running away from him. Kennett released his shoulder with force, and Arkland's feet slipped out of their place. Arkland wasted no time bolting up the stairs. Don't forget, Arkland, Kennett called after him. Remember your calling. Remember your responsibility. Arkland's mind raced as fast as he was, up the stairs and through the hall. How did the old man know his name? The trees, Arkland, he continued, slowly ascending the stairs, even as Arkland was running into his escape room. Listen to them, or beware them. Do please come back. I can't give you proper warning without listening to the prophecy some more. Arkland stopped short just inside the window and turned around to face the door. The trees. Hearing the man mention them made Arkland's heartbeat freeze for a few moments. I really like that snippet because I know what's coming later. Okay, so this one is from my book, Fall into Time, which is the one I'm working on right now, or I should be working on right now. And this is when Sophie meets Asher, and I love this scene. I love Asher so much. So this is when she first meets him. I'm Asher, he said. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. What are you doing here, she asked. Well, this is my house. I mean, sort of. It's my... Sophie hardened her gaze. No, it's not, she interrupted. It's mine. Well, it was. Her volume dropped, and she stood there uncomfortably, with her hands hanging at her sides. Asher looked at her, took another step back, and nodded. Right. Well, I'm just going to go now. He turned around and began taking slow, measured steps away. After standing there alone for a few moments, Sophie yelled, "Wait!" ran to him, and planted herself in front of him. What do you mean this is your house? I thought nobody had lived here for years. You weren't here when I was here yesterday. Well, no one has, he said, looking at her suspiciously. And you were in there. Creepy. Anyway, no, I don't live here. I'm just kind of utilizing it for scientific purposes. Sophie wondered why he was acting so strangely. Then again, she probably did not have a lot of room to accuse him of being strange. Scientific purposes? What's that supposed to mean? It's kind of personal. Asher took a wide step to the side, stopped, and proceeded to walk around Sophie back to her house. So that one was kind of long, sorry, but I love that scene. I love Asher. Asher's great and awkward. And this is happening again. Stop it. Favorite book character. So that would be Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings trilogy. However, Parvin Blackwater has really gone up there. I love Parvin. I think Sam would still be my favorite, but Parvin might be my second favorite. She's that good. And favorite movie. Oh, My default answer is Return of the King. Outside of that, I'm just going to stick with that because if I start naming all my other favorite movies, I'm just going to ramble for 15 minutes about movies and not even have answered the question because the question was favorite movie, not a list of favorite movies. So the next questions are from Hannah. Flowers or trees? I'm going to say trees. Trees are really cool and mystical, and I love walking through the forest and looking through the trees and imagining that there's magic in there. Yellow or gray? Gray. I love really like neutral colors and gray and white. Also, hey, look at my new blog. Ooh, I'm so excited. It's so pretty. I think so. I hope you guys think so. Writing or reading? What the heck kind of question is this? I like writing and reading equally. This is such a mean question. I don't even know how to answer this one. I love them both. The next questions are from Lila. What's the craziest or funniest thing your dog has done? Again, thank you for the question about my dog. So, I kept thinking about this because he's done a lot of crazy things. But the one thing I kept going back to was recently my sister and I were walking on our driveway. It's really long. And I was walking Xander, and he was walking along just fine. And all of a sudden, we got to this place on the driveway where, like, on the side, there was it was like kind of a hole, but it was like surrounded in bushes and stuff. And he stopped and turned and just went boing into the hole. He didn't run into it. He just literally went straight up in the air, and it was just hysterical. It was so funny. He's such a dork. I love him. Which is the hardest for you to write? Beginning, middle, or end? Definitely the middle. You get so stuck there, and I don't know where to go from there, and beginnings are great, endings are great, because those are usually the parts that you're most looking forward to writing, but the middles are just really hard for me. What's your favorite day of the week and why? So my favorite day of the week, definitely Thursday. That is one of my 2 days off from work every week, and my other day off is Sunday, and I love Sundays too, but I feel like I get more done on Thursdays, like more reading and writing, because I have church on Sundays and usually spend time with my family, which is, fantastic, but Thursday is just like my chill day when I can just relax at home and do whatever, so Thursdays. The next questions are from Anne. What is your dream travel destination? I have so many. There is not just one dream travel destination. I guess right now, if you could pick me up and drop me off anywhere, I'd say go to that Shire place I was talking about a while ago in New Zealand, I think. Is it in New Zealand? I think it's in New Zealand. Wherever it is. That would be so awesome to go and walk through the Shire. Oh my gosh, I want to go there so badly. I also want to go to Germany and see the castles. Favorite color? I think my favorite color is kind of turquoise, but not like this color. If that's this is a shade of turquoise, if that's possible. Is there just one shade of turquoise? I don't know, but it's this really light shade of blue. That's the best I got. Where's the questions? Okay, cats or dogs? So definitely dogs. I like cats, but dogs are so sweet, and I just love dogs. I'm definitely a dog person. What movie have you watched recently? The last movie I watched was actually a really old movie called The Buttercream Gang, and I fell asleep through the last, 25% of it, so I didn't really see how it ended. Before that, the last one I had watched was Descendants 3 for the third time, but, nobody's surprised about that. These last questions are from Gray. Favorite memory? Again, there are so many memories. Come on. I can't just pick one favorite memory. The weekend that I graduated high school, it was actually a whole week, but, my graduation was on the weekend. And we went to Florida. That was where my graduation was. And it was me and my family and my best friend. And that's just one of my favorite memories of all time because it was just such a sentimental trip, and it was so great. We saw the ocean for the first time. It was great. Next question, what is your favorite drink? So if you're talking like a refreshing drink on a hot day, it would be water or lemonade or Dr. Pepper. I'm so bad at narrowing down these answers to just one, and I'm so sorry. If you're talking about comforting drink, definitely coffee. I can narrow that one down right there for you. But also, I like refreshing coffee too. I'm drinking an iced pumpkin latte right now, the third one of the year. I had my first one yesterday. So just to narrow it down, my favorite drink, I'll just say two, a refreshing one and a comforting one, water and coffee. What does your ideal day look like? So my ideal day would be being able to sleep in a little bit. I don't want to sleep all day because then I feel like I've wasted my life. But not have to get up too early, but early enough to get a lot of stuff done. I'm being very specific about this. So anyway, just kind of a relaxed morning, and kind of, first of all, it has to be chilly. Like this would be an autumn day. I would wake up and it'd be really chilly, and I would snuggle up in my blankets. It would be great. But I would just get a lot of reading done that day, and writing, and maybe watch a movie that night. Spend some time with my dog. Go to the park. That's a very sloppy answer. Started out really specific and detailed, and then just got all over the place. Basically, a day where I can just stay home and chill and read and write and play with my dog. That would be an ideal day. Oh, and drink coffee all day. That would be an ideal day. Alright, so those are all of the questions. Thank you so much to everybody who put questions in for me. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do that. And also, thank you so much to all the people who have followed my blog in this one teensy tiny short year. It really just, it means a lot to me that I got my own little corner of the internet after seeing all these other people's corners, and people are reading what I'm writing, and it's just so, it's really great. I love blogging, and I love all you guys. So again, thank you for reading, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rambly video. Painful for me to make and probably painful for you to watch, but that's how it is. So I hope you guys like my new blog design, and I will see you guys next Thursday. So thanks for watching.